Welcome to Royal Secrets. The Danish skies glimmered with anticipation. The palace balconies shimmered in the soft glow of spring light. But all eyes were not just on the man of the hour, King Frederik of Denmark, who turned 57, but on a singular, unmissable gesture. A tender moment between monarchs. A glance, a soft touch, and then, Queen Mary, ever composed, did something that silenced the crowds and lit up headlines across Europe. Today, we pull back the royal curtains and take you deep inside the Danish palace's grandest balcony appearance of the year. What exactly was this sweetest gesture by Queen Mary? Why did it leave Denmark buzzing with emotion? And what does it tell us about the deeply human love story behind the monarchy's glittering image? This isn't just a birthday story. This is a moment of legacy, of love, and of quiet royal power. So buckle in, because the celebration of King Frederic's 57th birthday is about far more than a number. It's about a crown strengthened by romance, respect, and resilience. King Frederik may be one of Europe's most physically fit royals, often seen cycling, sailing, or jogging. But his 57th birthday isn't just a celebration of a well-maintained physique or royal titles. It marks more than 5 decades of princely preparation, a few months of sovereign duty, and a lifetime in the service of Denmark's soul. Frederik, once known as the Reluctant Prince, has transformed into a monarch of both steel and sentiment. As he stepped onto the balcony of Amalienborg Palace on that crisp May morning, the weight of the crown was visible, but so was something softer, a sense of peace, a feeling of partnership, and an unmistakable aura of quiet joy. And perhaps that's why this birthday was unlike any other. Because now, he is not just a prince. He is the king, and next to him, not just a consort, but the queen who has, quietly and powerfully, been his greatest ally. The balcony of Amalienborg Palace is more than just architecture, it's tradition. It's where generations of Danish royals have waved, bowed, smiled. And this year, it became the stage for something deeply intimate and nationally symbolic. At precisely noon, the royal family emerged. Crowds below erupted into cheers, while cameras clicked and television networks across Europe broadcasted the live feed. Frederik stood at the center, smiling warmly, dressed impeccably in a tailored navy suit. On one side, Queen Margrethe. On the other, Queen Mary, radiant in a soft pastel dress, her hair elegantly styled, her smile serene. But then, something quiet happened. As Frederik turned to wave at a section of the crowd chanting his name, Mary gently touched his arm. She leaned in, not with fanfare, not with spectacle, but with intention. She whispered something into his ear, and his face lit up with the kind of grin that only years of deep love can produce. The crowd saw it, the cameras captured it, and within minutes, social media dubbed it the sweetest gesture, a moment that would soon define the birthday celebration. But what did she say? While no microphones caught the words, royal watchers believe it was simple, personal, perhaps an inside joke, or a line of encouragement. What mattered wasn't the sentence, but the sentiment. In a monarchy often guided by protocol and poise, Queen Mary broke through with warmth. And that's what captured hearts. To understand the significance of Mary's gesture, we need to understand the woman behind it. Born Mary Donaldson in Hobart, Tasmania, Queen Mary's journey from Australian commoner to Danish queen is nothing short of a fairy tale. But fairy tales often mask the grit behind the glamour. Since her marriage to Frederik in 2004, Mary has meticulously transformed herself, not just into a royal consort, but into a powerful cultural figure, philanthropist, and diplomatic bridge. Fluent in Danish, patron of over 25 organizations, and a fashion icon with global reach, Queen Mary is admired across Europe and adored at home. But her influence isn't just in her title, it's in the subtle power she wields. Like on this birthday, that simple touch on the balcony wasn't just romantic, it was strategic. It reminded Denmark that their new monarch has someone beside him who sees him fully. Not just as King Frederik, but as the man she married, flaws, fears, laughter, and all. Within hours of the balcony appearance, Danish media exploded. Newspapers plastered front pages with the image of Mary and Frederik mid-gesture. Kærlighed på balkonen, love on the balcony, screamed one headline. Another called it a modern monarchy moment. But it wasn't just the press that swooned. Online forums, comment sections, and royal blogs lit up with praise. It's such a tender thing. "You can tell they genuinely love each other," wrote one fan from Copenhagen. Another, from Odense, added, "Mary is not just elegant, she's emotionally intelligent." That whisper said everything. In a world where monarchies are often accused of being distant and disconnected, the Danish royal couple showed the opposite. They were present, they were human, they were united, and the people noticed. The birthday balcony appearance wasn't limited to just the king and queen. In a move that further solidified the family's image of unity, all four of their children, Prince Christian, Princess Isabella, and twins Prince Vincent and Princess Josephine, appeared beside them. Each child played a symbolic role. Christian, the future king, stood tall and confident, subtly mimicking his father's posture. Isabella, just recently celebrated with a grand 18th birthday gala, stood with poise and elegance beyond her years. The twins, always a crowd favorite, waved enthusiastically, drawing cheers and laughter. But what stood out most was the body language. Mary frequently looked to her children with pride. Frederik placed his hand on Christian's back at one point, and the family as a whole projected a rare, almost cinematic kind of cohesion. In an era where royal families across Europe are grappling with scandal or reinvention, Denmark's House of Glucksburg offered something rare, stability wrapped in warmth. And in that stability, the monarchy's future looks bright. While the balcony gave the public a tantalizing glimpse of royal affection, the real celebration happened away from cameras. Sources close to the palace revealed that after the formal wave and brief media moments, the family retreated to a private lunch. The guest list was tight: immediate family, a few lifelong friends, and select royal staff. Queen Mary reportedly arranged for Frederik's favorite menu: light seafood, Danish new potatoes, and a signature chocolate mousse he's loved since childhood. There were no grand speeches, no press intrusions. Just laughter, storytelling, and a quiet birthday toast from Mary. According to one insider, Mary stood and simply said, "From Hobart to here, from crown prince to king, you've never stopped surprising me. And today, we celebrate you not just for what you do, but for who you are." Frederik was visibly moved. That's the power of Queen Mary, not in pomp, but in presence. To truly grasp why King Frederik's 57th birthday struck such an emotional chord, we must examine his transformation, not just as a man, but as a monarch. This wasn't just a birthday celebration. It was a moment of culmination. A pivot in Denmark's royal narrative. Frederik's early life was defined by pressure. As the eldest son of Queen Margrethe II and Prince Henrik, he was born into destiny, not by choice but by birthright. Yet for much of his youth, Frederik seemed burdened by that fate. He struggled with the public gaze, hesitated in interviews, and was once described in the media as unready for kingship. But time, love, and responsibility shaped him. After marrying Mary in 2004, a slow yet steady metamorphosis began. She wasn't just a partner. She was a mirror, a motivator, and a grounding force. And with each year, Frederik grew more assured. He took on military honors, environmental leadership roles, diplomatic duties, and eventually, the mantle of king in 2024. Turning 57 now, Frederik is no longer the reluctant prince. He's a steady sovereign with emotional intelligence, a deep love for his country, and, critically, a queen by his side who amplifies his strengths. This birthday wasn't just a festivity. It was a subtle coronation of confidence. Why did one simple touch and whisper between a queen and king cause such a stir? The answer lies in timing. This is the couple's first full year as monarchs. Every move they make is dissected, discussed, and in many ways, defines their reign. Queen Mary knew the cameras were rolling. She understood that millions were watching. And still, she leaned in. She touched his arm. She whispered something only he could hear. It was a break from formality. A breach of strict royal protocol. But it was also a declaration. This monarchy is human, connected, and rooted in real affection. In a post-pandemic world where authenticity trumps appearance, and in a European landscape where other royal houses face scandals and crises, Mary's small gesture was colossal. It said, "This is real." It said, "We're in this together." And more than anything, it said, "The crown is not cold." The public didn't just applaud the moment because it was sweet. They applauded because it felt right. It was the emotional honesty the public didn't know they needed, but deeply appreciated. In royal events, Nothing is accidental. The choice of wardrobe, positioning, even who waves when, it all sends a message. Queen Mary wore a pale lavender dress, a subtle yet symbolic choice. Lavender, historically associated with calm authority and regal grace, suited her perfectly. It wasn't a loud color, but it commanded quiet respect. Her earrings, delicate Danish pearls, nodded to tradition. Her brooch, a floral heirloom from Queen Ingrid, connecting her not just to Frederik, but to generations of queens past. Frederik, in contrast, wore a crisp, dark blue suit, reflecting stability, maturity, and his navy training. His tie matched the shade of Mary's dress, almost imperceptibly. A visual symbol of unity. Even their children's attire was curated to reflect cohesion. Muted tones, traditional tailoring, and a mix of Danish designers gave a fresh but respectful edge. They weren't just a royal family on a balcony. They were a living portrait of Denmark's present and future. Across royal watching Europe, the images and footage from the Danish birthday celebration quickly became front-page news. In Sweden, where Crown Princess Victoria maintains close ties with Queen Mary, major papers ran with the headline, "The Queen of Warmth." In Norway, King Harald reportedly sent personal congratulations, along with admiration for Frederik's grounded majesty. British tabloids, often harsh critics of their own royal family, praised the Danish couple as a masterclass in modern monarchy, contrasting their quiet strength with the turmoil surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Even beyond Europe, the event caught attention. Australian outlets were especially emotional, celebrating Mary as a Tasmanian treasure who now stands beside a king. One popular UK commentator put it simply, "Where other monarchies are cracking under pressure, Denmark just gave the world a lesson in love and leadership." King Frederik's birthday also subtly introduced a new royal strategy, gently transitioning the spotlight to the next generation. Prince Christian, now 19, stood just behind his father throughout the balcony appearance. Dressed in a sharp gray suit, he smiled often, waved confidently, and even exchanged a few warm looks with his younger siblings. Royal insiders say that Christian is being quietly prepped for more visibility. His education, military service, and upcoming foreign engagements are being designed to present him as a capable, compassionate future king. Princess Isabella, freshly 18 and newly independent in her public role, dazzled in her elegant presence. Her posture, poise, and clear comfort in front of crowds have sparked discussions about her potential future in international diplomacy or charity leadership. And then there were the twins, Vincent and Josephine, bringing just enough mischief and charm to remind everyone that despite the titles, this is still a family. In many ways, Frederik's 57th birthday wasn't just about him, it was a soft transition toward generational continuity. Later in the day, eagle-eyed royal fans spotted something remarkable. As the family began to retreat into the palace after the final wave, Queen Mary turned toward Frederik again. The footage is grainy, slowed down by fans and debated in countless social media forums. But it appears, just before stepping inside, Mary kissed Frederik on the cheek. Was it real? Was it a shadow or clever camera angle? Palace aides declined to comment, but royal biographers believe it did happen. "It fits her style," said Danish royal author Lena Balle. "Mary doesn't make big displays, but when she does something affectionate in public, it's always on purpose. Always powerful." If true, it would mark one of the rare moments of physical affection between reigning monarchs captured in real time, making the day even more memorable. Outside the palace, Danish cultural institutions took part in the celebration. In Tivoli Gardens, a royal-themed light show lit up the night sky in honor of Frederik. The Royal Danish Ballet performed a special matinee dedicated to King and Country, while Copenhagen's Symphony Orchestra played selections personally curated by the king, including a piece by Australian composer Carl Vine, in quiet homage to Mary's heritage. Artists across the country shared birthday tributes online. One painting, quickly going viral, depicted the famous balcony moment, but with added symbolism, Mary's touch rendered in gold leaf, highlighting its emotional value. Public art installations popped up in Frederik's honor, but almost all included Mary in some form. In Denmark today, it seems, you cannot celebrate the king without honoring the queen. What makes Queen Mary so effective, and so beloved? She doesn't command attention, she draws it, gently, purposefully, with grace. Her speeches are often short but meaningful. Her fashion is elegant, never showy. Her parenting is hands-on, her charity work consistent. But it's in her relationship with Frederik that her greatest influence is seen. Royal historian Soren Kiel once said, "Mary didn't change Frederik, she allowed him to become the best version of himself." In many ways, her soft guidance on the balcony, captured in that one small gesture, is a metaphor for her larger role. She's not trying to outshine the king. She's helping him shine brighter. And in doing so, she's helping the monarchy evolve. Thanks for watching.